ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 20, Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena. We are in the section, text 23 to 31, prayers of Maharaj Prithu. And yesterday we have seen beautiful prayer by Maharaj Prithu, where he is praying that, my dear Lord, I am praying for the worthy benediction, and real worthy benediction is I want to have millions of years so that I can have unlimited hearing of your wonderful pastimes. Text 25. Now, what is the effect of this hearing is being mentioned here, that how the hearing restores one relationship with the Supreme Lord. Sauttamashlokamahad mukhachuto bhavat padambojasudhakananilah smritim punah vismrititattvavartmanam kuyoginam no vitarattyalam varaihi. Translation.
My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Purport. It is explained in the previous verse that one has to hear glorification of the Lord from the mouth of a pure devotee. This is further explained here. The transcendental vibration from the mouth of a pure devotee is so powerful that it can revive the living entity's memory of his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In our material existence, under the influence of illusory energy, Maya, we have almost forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord, exactly like a man sleeping very deeply who forgets his duties. In the Vedas, it is said that every one of us is sleeping under the influence of Maya. We must get up from this slumber and engage in the right service, for thus we can properly utilize the facility of this human form of life. As expressed in a song by Thakura Bhakti Vinoda, Lord Chaitanya says, Jiva Jaga, Jiva Jaga. The Lord asks every sleeping living entity to get up and engage in devotional service so that his mission in this human form of life may be fulfilled. This awakening voice comes through the mouth of a pure devotee. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord. taking shelter of his lotus feet, and therefore he has a direct connection with the saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord. Although, when a pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky, the voice is spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. As soon as sleeping living entity hears the powerful voice emanating from the mouth of a pure devotee, he immediately remembers his eternal relationship with the Lord. Although up until that moment he had forgotten everything. For a conditioned soul, therefore, it is very important to hear from the mouth of a pure devotee who is fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord without any material desire, speculative knowledge, or contamination of the modes of material nature. Every one of us is Kuyogi because we have engaged in the service of this material world, forgetting our eternal relationship with the Lord as His eternal loving servants. It is our duty to rise from the Kuyoga platform to become Suyogis, that is, perfect mystics. The process of hearing from a pure devotee is recommended in all Vedic scriptures, especially by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may stay in his position of life. It does not matter what it is. But if one hears from the mouth of a pure devotee, he gradually comes to that understanding of his relationship with the Lord and thus engages in his loving service. And his life becomes completely perfect. Therefore, this process of hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee is very important for making progress in the line of spiritual understanding. Hare Krishna.
Very amazing verse. What is the effect of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord from the mouth of a pure devotee? Prithu Maharaj says, My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses offered by the great personalities. You are Uttama Shloka. Uttama Shloka, Mahan Mukhochutaha. And such glorification of your lotus feet is just like the saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouth of the great devotees carries the aroma of the dust of these saffron particles at your lotus feet, the devotees gradually come to right conclusion about the values in life and what other benediction I need than this, than to hear from the mouth of your pure devotees. Very, very amazing verse. Amazing verse. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that one has to hear the glorification of the Lord from mouth of a pure devotee. So this is the panacea cure for all the problems of a living entity. And therefore, bhakti is often called as Shravana Bhakti. Shravana Bhakti means Shravanam is so important in devotional service that that this Shravanam can revive our Krishna consciousness. It can revive one's living entity's memory of his spiritual relationship with the Lord. When the jiva he comes to the material world, what has happened is he's thrown in Maya, and first he's covered over. Maya has two shaktis. One is prakshepatmika, one pushes the material, the living entity to the material atmosphere, and then avaranatmika, and then his consciousness is covered over. And in covered over consciousness, the living entity, paropi manute anartham, is actually transcendental, but he thinks himself material, thinks his duties to be material, thinks everything to be material based on the covering that he has in the terms of gunas and the bodies, and thus he is suffering for a long time. Prabhupada says just like sometimes we have a deep sleep, or sometimes we may undergo some operative and go under a coma, very deep, the uh, uh, whole body anesthesia. And then when we come back to consciousness, sometimes it is like we are just thinking, who am I? What is the goal of my life? What I'm supposed to do? And the slowly memory revives. You must have seen sometimes in the movie also that the hero is walking and suddenly something from the top of the train falls on his head, and he just loses all the yaddash, and he has that sadma, there was a movie around this sadma. And then suddenly what happens is that he is taken to the different places, all the previous, the old things, the bachpan ka cheeze and everything, so that his yadash, his memory will be revived. So hearing from the lips of a pure devotee has this revival effect. Prabhupada says, this Maya, we are, for a long time, we are sleeping on the lap of Maya. We must get up from this slumber and engage in the right service. And thus we can properly utilize the facility of the human form of life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to sing this beautiful song, Jiva Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Pishachi Rokole. That for such a long time you are sleeping on the lap of Maya, and now it is time to get up. And the voice of a pure devotee has this awakening effect. Prabhupada writes here, the Lord asks every sleeping living entity to get up and engage in devotional service so that his mission of the human form of life may be fulfilled. Right? The human form of life has a mission. And what is that mission? That mission is beyond ahar, nidra, bhaya, ityadi. Those are the animal instincts, samanyametat pashubhiranarana. The mission is to revive one's Krishna consciousness, and this mission can be fulfilled by the awakening voice coming from the mouth of a pure devotee. Just like, we have Prabhupada's Dhun. What an amazing awakening voice it is. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And therefore, there is a modern trap nowadays. What is the modern trap is? Now, so much of knowledge is available on YouTube, so much of knowledge is available on everywhere. There is flood of knowledge, mostly untrue, because now, because AI has taken over, anything can be. Content generation has become like a nothing. Sometimes true, but we do not hear from the mouth of a pure devotee for knowledge alone. We hear for realization. This is very important. Many times people say, "Oh, Prabhuji, we hear the same thing is being spoken by Prabhupada in his books." Yes, of course, same thing is spoken by Srila Prabhupada in his book, right? You don't have to need newer and newer things. Our path is not the knowledge acquiring path. Our path is, the bhakti. Our path is the application path, and those things have to be heard and revived again and again. Many times, what happens is we may be reluctant to hear a lecture of our spiritual master, lecture of Srila Prabhupada, and we may want to hear some new lectures here and there, which has some titillating effect about from this Puran, this Leela, that Leela, and some, the 10th layer, intricate Leela people want to know. That when Krishna is going from Barsana to here and, in this place and that place. Of course, those Leelas have their own great understanding. At the same time, purpose of hearing is not knowledge acquiring. Purpose of hearing is not always to take notes and have lots of points and to have lots of new content generated. No. Purpose of hearing is to revive our Krishna consciousness, and that happens by the sound vibration of a pure devotee. And therefore, hearing Guru Vani is so very important. Another point about hearing is, and this is a very important point, that when to find the time to hear. Right? Many times people say, "Prabhuji, time in here," and really there is no time. There is no time. Disease is there, but this is true. But instead of traveling on two-wheeler, I know a couple of devotees. They have four-wheeler in the house, and I mean, at least 10 times I have told them that you travel in four-wheeler. You can peacefully. "Nahi, Prabhuji, late hota hai." Yeah, perfect. Instead of reaching in 30 minutes, you will reach in 40 minutes, and you will hear 40 minutes. 40 minutes hearing to and fro. Just imagine when the generally whenever in counseling, most of I mean, some people have complained that our Prabhuji takes a lot of time in the just getting ready. I mean, so just here When you are shaving, when you are brushing your teeth, just hear. When you are cooking, just hear. Right? So we have to find a reason to hear and hear from the lips of a pure devotee and our spiritual master. It is very, very important. A pure devotee is always engaged in the service of the Lord, taking shelter of the Lord. And the direct association has the saffron leaden particles from the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada writes so beautifully. Although the sound may appear material articulation, that sound is not material, that sound is spiritual. And what is the proof? The proof is that by hearing that sound, there is transformation. George Harrison, one day, very, very famous Beatles, his birthday was there. On his 16th, 17th birthday, there were 7 truckload of the greeting cards standing outside of his house. And devotees were trying to reach to him. Just imagine, impossibility. And devotees were like, ISKCON is at least famous now. In 1960s and 70s, was nobody, nothing. So Sham Sundar Prabhu in the saffron dress, he was just waiting. He just came down, and there thousands of other people were waiting. George Harrison came down, straight walked to him, and he said that, where are you guys? I was searching for you, day in and day out. And then he said that he was driving from some Baltimore to another place, and it was like 12 hours of drive. And he said that I was constantly hearing the Hare Krishna Kirtan Dhun by your spiritual master, and I was mesmerized by the purity of that. Look at this. The entire world is mad after George Harrison, and George Harrison is mad after hearing Prabhupada's Hare Krishna Kirtan Dhun, and he was hearing that for 12 continuous hours. This is the effect of hearing the transcendental sound vibration from a pure devotee. So, Prabhupada says that sound may appear material, but it is not material, it is spiritual. Right? Why? Because it will revive one Krishna consciousness, it will lead a transformation. Prabhupada was sitting in Tompkinson Square Park every day chanting 2-3 hours, and entire transformation took place. And therefore, Prabhupada says, don't mistake the voice to be material, that voice is spiritual. One will immediately remember his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Further, Srila Prabhupada writes, for a conditioned soul, it is very important to hear from the mouth of a pure devotee who is fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord without any material desire. Every one of us is a kuyogi. Prabhupada, the word here is kuyoginam me, kuyoginam no, vitarat kalam varaihi. What is better vara than hearing about the Lord for a kuyogi? Every one of us is a kuyogi. What is the proof? Mere the fact having material body itself means that we are kuyogi, right? And from kuyogi we have to become suyogi, the perfect mystic. And the process is hearing from the pure devotee, and this is especially recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never wanted people to leave their positions and take sannyas, which is generally the case in the Shankar Sampradaya, where they say that first you take sannyas and then we speak Aham Brahmasmi. It is not for anybody and everybody. A particular class born in the Brahmin, only the male, take sannyas, come and discuss with us. Mahaprabhu's method is for anyone and everyone. Kiba vipra kibanayasi shudra kenanai. What you have to do? Sthani sthita, shruti gatan, tanuvak manobir. Just remain wherever you are and start hearing from the process. So Prabhupada says this process of hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee is very important for making progress in the line of spiritual understanding. And that's why Maharaj Prithu, when Supreme Lord is standing in front of him, is saying, my dear Lord, I just want the benediction to have millions of ears so that I can hear from your millions of devotees about your billions of pastimes. Very, very beautiful, amazing shloka by Prithu Maharaj. In fact, the prayers of Prithu are so beautiful and so personal. Now they are going to become very, very personal, very, very intimate. Okay. It is the entry in the mind of Maharaj Prithu. Text is 26. Now here he says, who will give up hearing your pastimes, my lord? Only an animal can do that. Right. Yasya shivam यशः शिवं शुश्रव आर्य संगमे यदृच्छया चोपशृणोति ते सकृत् कथं गुणज्ञो विरमेद्विना पशुम् श्रीर्यत् प्रयत्वे गुणसंग्रह इच्छया. Translation.
Translation, my dear highly glorified Lord, if one in the association of your devotees hears even once the glories of your activities, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal, give up the association of devotees, for no intelligent person would be so careless as to leave their association. The perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories was accepted even by the goddess of fortune, who desired to hear of your unlimited activities and transcendental glories. Purport. The association of devotees, Arya Sangama, is the most important factor in this world. The word Arya refers to those who are advancing spiritually. In the history of the human race, the Aryan family is considered to be the most elevated community in the world because it adopts the Vedic civilization. The Aryan family is distributed all over the world and is known as Indo-Aryan. In prehistoric days, all of the members of the Aryan family followed the Vedic principles and therefore they became spiritually advanced. The kings, known as Raja Rishis, were so perfectly educated as Kshatriyas or protectors of the citizens and so greatly advanced in spiritual life that there was not a bit of trouble for the citizens. The glorification of the Supreme Lord can be very much appreciated by the Aryan family. Although there is no bar for others, the members of the Aryan family very quickly catch the essence of spiritual life. How is it that we are finding it very easy to spread Krishna consciousness among the Europeans and Americans? History reports that the Americans and Europeans proved their capability when they were anxious to expand colonization, but at the present time, being contaminated by the advancement of material science, their sons and grandsons are turning into reprobates. This is due to their having lost their original spiritual culture, which is Vedic civilization. Presently, these descendants of the Aryan family are taking this Krishna consciousness movement very seriously. Others who are associating with them and hearing the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from the lips of pure devotees are also from the lips of pure devotees are also becoming captivated by the transcendental vibration. Transcendental vibrations are very much effective when chanted among Aryans, but even though one does not belong to the Aryan family, he will become a Vaishnava simply by hearing the mantra because the vibration has great influence over everyone. Maharaj Prithu points out that even the goddess of fortune, who is the constant companion of the Lord Narayana, specifically wanted to hear about the Lord's glories, and for the association of the gopis who are pure devotees, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, underwent severe austerities. The impersonalist may ask why one should bother chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra continually for so many years instead of stopping and trying for Kaivalya, liberation, or merging into the existence of the Lord. In answer, Maharaj Prithu maintains that the attraction of this chanting is so great that one cannot give up the process unless he is an animal. This is the case even if one comes in contact with this transcendental vibration by chance. Prithu Maharaj is very emphatic in this connection. Only an animal can give up the practice of chanting Hare Krishna. Those who are not animals but actually intelligent, advanced human, civilized men cannot give up this practice of continually chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Now Maharaj Prithu, he further prays, my dear highly glorified Lord, Sushravaha. Okay, Sushravaha is highly glorified Lord. In the association of pure devotees, Arya Sangame, one hears even once the glories of your activities. And who can give up such activities, hearing activities, unless one being less than an animal? Perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories is accepted even by the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi herself, not to speak of insignificant humans like us. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the association of devotees, Arya Sangama, is very important factor in the world. Right? Bhagavad Gita also, the Lord is rebuking Arjuna. He says, Anarya, Ajushtvam, Asvargyam, Akirtikaram cha Arjuna. What kind of Klaibyam Asmagah Partha? What kind of thoughts you are having, Arjuna, to give up the fight? So Anarya comes. Now there was a big historical fraud, and there was like Aryan invasion theory, and now it is proved to be historical fraud. It is moved out of NCERT. We remembered it, mugged it around, wrote those Aryan invasion theory to get some marks. But now it is completely, it is out from the NCERT books as well. But Aryan, who is the Aryan? Aryans are those who are the strict followers of Vedic principles. They are called as Arya. So the Arya family is considered most elevated community by the adoption of their Vedic civilization or the spiritual practices. And typically they are known as Indo-Aryans, or in the Shastras they are known as the Rajarishi. Rajarishi means they are perfectly educated Kshatriyas. At the same time, they are saintly by characters. These are called as Arya. And such Arya will appreciate glorification of the Supreme Lord very naturally. Their natural inclination will be glorifying the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada says, even the modern Americans and Europeans who are accepting Krishna consciousness so wholeheartedly is actually no wonder. Why? Because they are also descendants of Arya. So Prabhupada is now reverse in Aryan invasion theory, right? Which is actually the truth. So, and the previously the Vedic culture was spread everywhere till Maharaj Parikshit, who is the Chakravarti Samrat. Entire planet Earth was under the subjugation and control of, under the ruling of the great kings of India, Maharaj Parikshit, Janmejay, so on and so forth. Later, one after another, because of the influence of Kali Yuga, things started falling apart. But their roots are Vedic. Their forefathers are Aryan, and therefore, when this philosophy is presented to them, they are naturally liking this because they are coming from Aryan ancestry. Presently, these descendants of the Aryan family are taking to this Krishna consciousness very seriously. And even others who are associating with them by the process of Krishna consciousness, this vibration is so great, Prabhupada says, that everybody can take advantage and purify one's life. Now, what to speak of humans? Even Lakshmi ji, who is worshipped by all great personalities, she is also always eager to hear your pastimes. And what is the proof? Lakshmi ji is performing immense austerities to enter the Rasa Leela so that she can have the intimate association of the Lord. And but when what, so people in general are very much anxious to have Krupa Kataksh of the Lakshmi. And the same Lakshmi is doing severe austerity to hear the pastimes of the Lord. But people in general, they are averse to hearing pastimes of the Lord. My dear Lord, aren't they less than the animal? This is the proposition of Maharaj Prathu. Further, Srila Prabhupada says the impersonalist may ask that why to chant Krishna conscious, Hare Krishna so long? Simply be happy with Kaivalya. And here the answer Prathu Maharaj says that the attraction of this chanting is so great that one cannot give up the process unless one is an animal. And therefore, this process of chanting Hare Krishna is extremely important, and one has to guard one's enthusiasm to chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
everyone.
Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.